Welcome to Outtakes. I'm Lori Baker. Dale Raoul, star of True Blood and Under the Dome, joins us now to talk about her recent projects such as the web series Avenue 43, the television series Bones, and the Nickelodeon sitcom Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn. And here she is. So congratulations for Season 10, launching on June 7th of your web series that you've been a guest star of, Avenue 43.
Oh, thank you, Lori. It's so much fun. We just shot on Saturday again, and as always, you know, it's such a wacky series, and there's so many wonderful actors in it that we sort of have more fun than we should. It's such a great group of people.
Well, The Guardian named Avenue 43 as one of the 25 web TV shows you need to see. What is it that you think it is about this show that makes it so successful?
Well, I think primarily the writing. It's written by a guy named Justin Tanner, who's a very well thought of playwright here in Los Angeles. He's had a lot of plays that have done very well. And he just has an ear for dialogue. And he also, because he's been around here so long, he really knows a lot of terrific actors, and so they're all happy to work for him. But I think it's the writing, and also Justin has an ear and sort of an insight into people's wackiness. And the premise of the show is that it takes place in an area of Los Angeles called Highland Park, which is the main street is Avenue 43, and that's why it's named that. And so all the people are kind of insane artists and and people with lots of interesting neuroses and how they all come together and kind of clash. So I guess I would say it's we call him the maestro. It's basically because of Justin Tanner.
Oh, well, you said that about the name of it being Avenue 43. I had seen in the preview that they were using puppets. And, you know, here in New York City on Broadway, we have Avenue Q where they use puppets. So I thought maybe it was like a tie-in to Avenue Q somehow. But that's interesting.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so, but that's interesting. I never thought of that. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But you know, we also have a cat. Like a cat is one of the stars, and that's actually Justin's cat. We were shooting on Saturday, and we shoot a lot at his house, and so we were upstairs shooting some scenes in the hallway by the bedroom, and the cat was just kind of lounging on the bed in front of the fan because it was very hot that day. And it was all we could do to move him so that we could complete the scenes because he was he sort of runs the household. So it's very fun to go there and play with him.
Got it. How did you get involved with this series?
You know, it's been so long now. I think I'd done readings and things for Justin in the past, and one day he just called me up out of the blue and said, "Oh, I'd love for you to be part of this." And I had worked with an actor named French Stewart, whom lots of people know because he was on Third Rock from the Sun, and then he's been on the series Mom, and he and I have the same management company, and so I knew that French was involved, so I thought, oh, this is going to be good. So that I didn't have any hesitation in saying yes.
What character do you play?
I play a character named Brenda, and she seems like she's very nice and sweet, of course, and, you know, just a nice lady in the neighborhood, but actually she has very nefarious ideas about how life should be lived. And right now I'm trying to persuade the wife of my son and she's pregnant, and I'm trying to convince her to sell the baby. So she's not a very nice woman, but she has a very lovely veneer.
Is this series on YouTube, or how do people go about to find Avenue 43?
Yeah. Just go on YouTube, and we've got a channel, and it's all there.
Oh, cool. How is it for you? You know, you've done so many different television shows and movies. How is doing a web series different from doing, you know, one of the televised series?
Well, you know, I think it's actually, in a way, a lot more fun because there isn't as much pressure Also, people are really doing it for the joy of making their own product. So it's not so much about money. And, your time commitment is less. But I would say for me, it's more about just the enjoyment of making something out of nothing and creating something with a group of people who all are doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, so much whenever I talk to people that are doing their own web series, they just love the creative freedom of it without having to have the networks dictate to them, what they have to do. They can just, they can just go wherever the urge leads them, and
that's right. And there's no advertisers, there's no people, that you have to please, and you don't have to really listen to anyone's opinion, and so there's a lot of freedom.
So you're doing this series where, lots of sex and debauchery and witchcraft and voodoo and all kinds of stuff going on in this series.
Yeah.
And then you're famous for True Blood and Under the Dome. And then just recently you've done the series Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Dawn, which is a Nickelodeon sitcom. How is it you're doing a change of pace from, the supernatural, wild and crazy to working with kids?
Well, I think I'd maybe done one other kids show. I was trying to remember that. But this was sort of new for me, and I loved it because these kids are so smart. It's crazy. This was their third season, and the show's about these 4 kids who are quadruplets. There's 3 boys and a girl, and I play their grandmother. And it's a very nice job to have because they're children, they can't work a lot of hours. So you really go in, you rehearse, and then like on Monday through Thursday, and then Friday you tape the show, and it's a very easy schedule. So as far as the logistics of it, it's fun and pretty painless. But I was so impressed with these kids because they're complete professionals, and they have such energy. And everyone's just happy to be at work and happy to be in a joyful environment. And the directors work well with children. The producers really know what they're doing. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. And they have one more season before the kids get too old. So I'm hoping the grandmother will come back and visit again.
Sure. Yeah, I never thought about how the shooting schedule has to accommodate kids, I guess, with schools and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they have hours during the day that they have to study on set, and so it's they run a very tight ship.
Yeah, another show that you have recently appeared in, the final season of Bones. How was that experience?
Well, that was really wonderful. I must say, the casting director of Bones had me into audition for, 3 or 4 times before that, and I had never gotten the job. So I was very happy to finally get to be on the show in the last season. And, they are such a great team. They have, they've been on the air for 12 seasons, so they run like a Swiss watch. And everyone is so gracious and so helpful. And we shot in Malibu in a big, beautiful house overlooking the ocean. So it was just, it was really kind of sinful to take the money because it was such a joyful time and so beautiful and very easy, and everyone was helpful, and I had a very fun character who was kind of wacky, but but fun. I was a witness to the bad guy, and I don't know, I really, really enjoyed it, and my hats are off to that whole team, and especially, the stars, Emily Deschanel and David Boreanaz. They are producers now on the show, and they really have their priorities straight.
That's wonderful. I saw on your Facebook page some pictures of you close to me, actually, at a Chiller Theater convention in New Jersey. I'm curious. I'm curious, what is the experience of doing, that was like a horror film convention.
Yeah. It was in New Jersey, And it's one of the biggest ones in the country, and it was my first time there. And I must say it was just a blast. You know, there were thousands of fans, and they are just wild, and they get into it so much. You know, lots of people in costume, and you know, guys with like fake knives and chainsaws and leather outfits, and you know, just there was a couple that had a full-on Ghostbusters uniform, both of them, and one family with their little kid. I think they were dressed up from The Walking Dead, and you know, people just get into it, so they enjoy it so much, and so we all just had a great time. I think we were there for 3 days, and they had a huge turnout, and it was incredibly well organized. So I'm hoping to go and do it again because it was so much fun.
Would you say the fans mostly remember you from True Blood?
Yeah, I would say probably it's about 75% True Blood. But then I kind of was surprised. I forgot, you know, I didn't forget, but Under the Dome, of course, was created by, the book was by Stephen King. So because of him, people really, you know, loved that show. And so, you know, that was more supernatural than horror, but yeah, I'd say it was mostly True Blood, but lots of Under the Dome fans. It was kind of crazy.
Do you know of any crazy fan stories you can tell us?
Well, like one guy had written down all of his favorite lines of mine from True Blood, which was, you know, it's very flattering when someone takes time. Yes, very flattering and very kind. And so he asked me, would I repeat all those lines to him? And so I thought, well, okay, so I did. And then he picked the one that we sign autographs and, you know, on a photo. So he picked the line that he wanted me to put onto the photo when I signed it. So I did that. That was, you know, that was kind of my craziest thing. There was a guy in the room where I was who was from The Walking Dead, and he also he was an actor. His name escapes me now. I feel terrible, but he is also like the third highest ranked arm wrestling champion of the world. So for $10, people could arm wrestle him. So all day long, people would try, and absolutely no one beat him. Not one person. So it was kind of like a crazy weekend.
Well, just curious, what was the line that he had you do the autograph?
Oh, Lori, oh God, I can't remember. Let me think.
Oh, that's okay.
I can't remember now. I can't
See,
remember.
I'm sure if he were here, he could just spill it out for you right now.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez, no, he has a better memory than I do.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say also congratulations to your husband, Ray Thompson, for winning his ninth daytime Emmy as lighting director for The Young and the Restless. I mean, wow, he is just on a winning streak. How was the experience of attending the Daytime Creative Arts Emmys this year?
Well, we didn't, you know, this is actually his fifth in a row. And so we for sure knew we really didn't expect him to win at all. And so we were just going to go and have fun and see friends. And, you know, it's a great party, and everyone's in a very good mood, and everybody's dressed up. And so, you know, we just thought, well, heck, we'll just go and have a great time, you know, whatever. And so then when he won, we just couldn't believe it. So, you know, it was like icing on the cake. And then we were seated with the art director for the show, and he won as well. So it was like a nice, you know, it was a nice group event right there, just between David Hoffman is his name, and his wife, and Ray and me. And so we went out afterwards and had a celebratory glass of champagne, and it was really fun, and the show did well. And you know, it's just nice because they put in so many hours. You know, Ray works, you know, sometimes 80 hours a week, so it's lovely to be recognized.
I imagine all the other soap operas are like, we really need to step up our game if we're going to, with the lighting, if we're going to get him off the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you guys?
That's what I thought. I sort of thought that's what would happen this year, but, there's a lot of people who vote in that category. So, they look at all the submissions but if I were the other, soap lighting designers, I'd be thinking, well, let's get rid of that guy. He's got enough. But it's super nice.
Where do you keep all those daytime Emmys? I mean, are they like in your living room or?
Well, no, we have a little TV room and we have them in there because that seems appropriate.
That is appropriate. It's very appropriate.
Yeah.
Do you have any other projects you're working on that you're at liberty to tell us about that we haven't already talked about?
I've got next week I'm shooting a short film called Seriously Mike, and it's about a young couple buying their first house, and I play their crabby mother, one of the husband's crabby mother, and we'll be shooting it starting next week. And then this Saturday, actually, I'm starting a rehearsal for an independent film that's been in the works for a year now. But so I don't have a shooting schedule yet, but the fact that we're having a rehearsal means that things are underway. And it's written by a woman named Julie Smith. And actually, 3 or 4 years ago, I did a web series for her, and now she has written her feature-length script, and they have raised the money. She and her producer, Marina Garcia, they've raised the money, and so it's a go. So that's exciting. That's what's really fun is when somebody, makes that leap. And so I think it'll be about probably about a 4-week shoot.
Well, it's been great catching up with you. You're always so busy, and you always have something going on, and across genres, whether it's the horror or web series or teenage children's series. You've got all the bases covered, and so congratulations with everything, and I look forward to keeping up with your work. Keep up with all future shows on my social media. I'm on Twitter as Laurie's OutTakes. On Facebook, it's OutTakes Interviews, and on Instagram, it's OutTakes Interviews. So see you there. Until next time.